Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka. This evening, economist and lecturer Professor Lord Mensah has warned that burdening the country with more debts could unsettle the economy for the next 22 years, or 22 years, I should say. He cautioned government against overspending ahead of the 2024 elections, pointing out that government's resort to short-term debt financing due to its inability to go to the capital market is already stifling growth in the private sector. Speaking on Joy News, Professor Mensah emphasized that staying fiscally disciplined and prioritizing expenditure in 2024 could be crucial to the economic rebound of the country.
Access to international market is not there. So when it comes to, reining in, expenditure like it used to be, we're going to derail this economy completely for the next 22 years because government options for financing is only on the local market. If you look at the structures of even the local market, the financing has been, resorted to short term. Government can only borrow up to a maximum of 1 year. The bond that we restructured, if you look at, the DDP that we followed through, that bond has, is more or less illiquid as we speak now. Nobody is buying them. Apart from, those life insurance companies and those pensions that their obligations are long-term. Nobody is trading in those zones. We are all looking at government raising money short-term. So government cannot make any attempt to rake in unnecessary expenditure going into this election. Other than that, this economy would derail completely. Rebouncing back will be a problem. So that is my piece of advice. If government has something to do, they may have to really prioritize. And I know most of the time what they do is that they hide behind the social, support or the social spending, like free SHS, like other social spendings that they want to do to blow up the expenditure line, thinking, okay, they are helping the poor. Meanwhile, they are not optimizing the targeting of, the poor. So effectively, I would say that yes, our room in raising money that will call for the expenditure is not there. We don't have that space, to go and raise money. We are hands tied completely. The only hope that we're going to get is our external creditors will have something concrete for us this time, and so that we can unlock the IMF money, which will give room for other ancillary expenditure. Other than that, we're going to have the same situation where the Bank of Ghana was forced to print money, to finance activities within the economy.
The economy and economist analyst with Data Bank Research, Kweku Akokumson, is impressing on the Bank of Ghana to scale up its forex buffers to withstand any shocks while maintaining the relative stability of the cedi. According to him, building a sustainable reserve will enable the central bank step in the event of seasonal shocks that may affect the performance of the local currency. His comment follows a projection by IC Research indicating the Ghana cedi may lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market this year. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Akokumson urged the Bank of Ghana to collaborate with the Development Bank Ghana to invest more in value addition advancement to improve on the country's export earnings.
It's quite crucial indeed to have a very good FX buffer, because at least that makes you more resistant to external shocks, and shocks also obligating from financing from external debt as well. And now looking at it, it's quite crucial to have enough buffers so that at least the central bank can smoothing over any erratic movements in the currency, and can also intervene in the market as necessary to help stem the tide should the cedi meet some stormy seasons, if I should say. So as much as possible, it's quite crucial to build these sustainable reserves. And then additionally, the central bank, we've seen this seasonal cycle where typically we see inflows from syndicated loan or some other external source to really bolster reserves. I think the central bank has taken some steps on the Gold for Reserve program. We feel the central bank can scale it up a bit. And also, additionally, looking at the 2024 budget, and it was also included in the 2023 budget, where the government would leverage the development bank to target investments, mainly in the agri value chain, in a bit to advance up the value chain a bit. I feel the central bank can also, in consultation with the development bank and also other interested banks, as I think Nigeria does on its reserve requirements and how that features into agricultural investments, the central bank can also leverage on the development bank to help invest more in the value chain advancements. With this, we would see more or higher receipts on our exports or higher export earnings, which should then feature favorably in our reserve buildup of our foreign exchange buildup. So I think the central bank can also leverage the involvement of the development bank and also other banking sector players to sustainably invest in value chain advancement and enhance foreign exchange receipts.
Now, the application of value-added tax on motor insurance could be delayed further and possibly frozen for a while. That's even if the VAT amendment bill secures the required presidential assent for Ghana Revenue Authority to start implementing the tax. George Yafe has more.
Government sources have told Joy Business that the move has been influenced by concerns that applying this tax may come with some serious implications for the economy and inflation rate going forward. Insurance companies have already gone ahead to increase third-party premiums from January 1, 2024. This does not even include the 21.9% VAT that should be applied on non-life insurance businesses, products and services from this year. Therefore, applying this VAT on motor insurance could increase the cost of insurance and other related services, a move that may end up justifying calls by transport operators for an increase in fares. This may end up increasing the cost of living significantly, a development that the Finance Ministry is worried about. Joy Business is learning that the Ghana Revenue Authority could be asked to hold on for a while, even if the President signs the 5 new tax amendment bills. It's however not clear for now if the tax could be suspended. But insurance companies, on the other hand, say they will continue to make a strong case to the Finance Minister in their meetings on why this VAT should be suspended on insurance products. The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Amishada Osama, has also maintained that implementation of these new tax bills will only go ahead when the necessary public education has been completed.
And we've got to touch on this headline story. The new specifications for petroleum products finally took off on January 1, 2024. But are industry players complying with these new standards put out by the industry's regulator? Let's get onto Zoom and speak with the head of quality control at the National Petroleum Authority, Ubdela Sahid, for more details on this development. Thanks so much, Sahid, for joining me on Business Live. First off, can we say all the importers are complying with this directive since January 1, 2024?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes, absolutely. Every importer is complying. It's mandatory, and we have enforced it to the letter. So indeed, since the time kicks in, we have made sure that every importer have duly complied with the directive.
All right. So there was an incident where the authority had to turn back a vessel with high manganese levels. Does this demonstrate your resolve to be hard on these players?
Absolutely. We all understand the very important nature of this issue, the fact that it has affected a lot of Ghanaians, and the extent of damage cannot even be quantified. So the NPA, being the regulator in charge of public protection in this regard, we have demonstrated every resolve within us to ensure this issue. And it is even important to add that this vessel was turned at the time that the 1st January date has not kicked in yet. But due to the level of the metals, the chief executive, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid himself, has to negotiate and talk to the importers to ensure that these things do not affect consumers.
Sahid, tell me, what will happen to those who will breach these requirements?
Well, I do not foresee anybody breaching this requirement. However, it suffices to add that the NPA, we have a very strict regime, including confiscating of product, suspension and even revoking of licensing. And now we have been equipped by the Parliament of Ghana to undertake criminal prosecution of such nature. So yes, whilst I do not see anybody breaching these directives, they are very scary, if I should put it that way, sanctions that people are aware of, that should it happen, the NPA will not hesitate in cracking the whip.
I've heard or seen or heard some importers argue that meeting these new specifications may come at a cost. Is that the case now, and should consumers be prepared to pay more?
I don't expect it to be so, because if you read our communication when this issue happened, we indicated that whilst that was the standard, before this incident started happening, we were having cargoes of product of lower manganese content, and that is why everybody was fine. So on that logic, it does not make sense to me that now that we are strict to say that what was happening or what you were bringing before, continue to bring that one, I don't see how that should warrant price. However, I'm limited in that area, but with my understanding of the issues, I do not expect this to warrant a price increase.
All right. So help me understand this. Will this new specification deal with the problems that some people were having with their engines? Because some have said it was a production issue.
Yes, it will. In fact, it's already dealing with the issue. So from our data, we are experiencing reduced complaints. Yes, of course, the complaints have not disappeared completely, because it's about new product replacing those stocks that had these concerns. So I would say over 90% of the products from our monitoring are no longer present with us. And in some cases, they have been diluted with lower metal containing product, and that have made it easier on consumers and have reduced the effect that we previously had.
Earlier in your submission, you did mention that indeed there were problems. Now, talk about compensation. What has the NPA has to say about it?
Well, it's something that have come up a couple of times. The issue is to the extent that nobody actually did breach a standard. What will be the who will be liable? The person have met the standard. The standard is not done by the NPA. As to whether we ourselves can take anybody on is another challenge, because we are a regulator just to enforce standards. The people have met the standard. It's just that the standards as it was having effect. So I'm not clothed with the powers in this regard, but I'm sure that management will, give it a thought and see what is possible.
All right. Thank you very much, Ubaidallah Saheed, for your time here on Business Live. Here's the head of control at the NPA speaking to us there. All right, so let's stay longer within this space, because the BoG oil distributors have assured that they will remain committed to the new specifications for importing petroleum products into the country. Now, the pledge comes after the National Petroleum Authority earlier this month turned away a vessel carrying petroleum products with high manganese levels. Now, this was despite the coming into force of a new requirements for importing products from January 1, 2024, following complaints by some motorists that the old specifications caused problems to their engines. Dr. Patrick Kwekufori is Chief Executive of the Chamber of BoG Oil Distribution Companies.
For the past 4 or 5 weeks, inform our major trading partners that the specifications have changed. We've looked at it, and our last engagement, we realized that although we're looking out for magnesium and other metals in the fuel specification, one thing that we're not looking critically at is iron. And now that the regulator is building its capacity to be able to test and verify all those, it gives all of us confidence that we can bring in products that will meet the specification, that will also abet any situation.
Still watching Business Live. We are taking a breather. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Business Live. Now, custom officers at the Eastern Border Post are requesting more logistical support to reduce the influx of smugglers along the corridor. This follows the decision by neighboring Togo to decongest its ports, which has made the border posts of Aflao and adjoining areas prone to smuggled goods. Speaking to Joy Business after an operation at the Dabla checkpoint, the second in command at the Aflao border checkpoint, Emmanuel Parker, called for more resources to ensure that all porous borders are checked accordingly.
And then added onto it, and then it makes it look as if Aflao cleared these things, but this is the problem we are having. We need logistics, we need men to come back because the borders are vast and they are porous, and when we close one side, another portion is opened, and before we get to know it's open, there would have been a lot of goods coming through. We do arrest rice, oil, and the like. And we have a number of informations that are, Togo is now decongesting their port. So a lot of vehicles are likely to come in, and we are trying our best. And this is one of the best way to have some of these things under wraps.
Quick Credit has indicated it will no longer undertake house-to-house recovery of its loans. According to its founder and board chairman, Richard Ni Amakwe, he says that the unfilled loan recovery department of his organization has been dissolved. Richard Ni Amakwe explained during Quick Credit's annual gathering at the conference center in Accra that the decision was made following feedback from stakeholders.
Over the past year, we received numerous feedback from our customers, the general public, and our regulator on our activities on the field. These feedbacks are a reflection of the experiences and expectations of the people we serve. I am thrilled to announce that we have taken a decision to dissolve the house-to-house recovery department of the company and shall no longer be visiting clients for recovery ever again. Let me repeat this side again. I am saying that we are thrilled to announce that we have taken a decision to dissolve the house-to-house recovery department of the company and shall no longer be visiting clients for recovery ever again.
Some good news there. Now, it's day 9 of January, and we have a long way to go before the year ends. Have you planned your finances for the year? Well, if you have not, we have some guidance for you on Joy Business Advisory Series, which began today. Take a listen to Reindolf Anno, partner at accounting advisory services firm KPMG.
Key thing is knowing why financial targets or goals or financial objectives are important, right? Everything you do as far as financial planning is concerned must tie back to your goal. All right, so a key principle or a key goal is understanding financial targets or financial goals or financial objectives. So that is one. Two, you need to understand cash flow. Essentially, it is how money comes in and how money goes out. You need to be able to understand that for yourself. How are you getting in money? How is that amount or how are those amounts going out? So you need to have a good appreciation of your own cash flow. Then you also need to understand budgeting. A lot of people are not interested in budgeting. And we will cover that because it's a bit difficult to say you are sitting down and you are doing this, but you need to do that if you are really going to have a plan that will help you through these difficult times. And you also need to appreciate time value of money, right? Money today is not the same tomorrow. There's inflation, your value can erode, and other things. So I'll just give these 4 principles. But if you appreciate these principles well, then you will not take financial planning for granted. What I think we can do, right? Forgetting about sitting down to say you are detailing, I will spend A, B, C, D. Be conscious, all right? And think about 3 or 4 key buckets. All right, to allocate your money. So let's give an example. Let's say you have 100 Cedis. That is an amount you earn, whether weekly or say monthly. All right, think about it to say, what are the must-dos? There are things that come what may, whether you have money or not, you must do. So for instance, maybe you have to get to work. You may get an Uber or you have to eat. So the things that you must do, right, those are your fixed cost. All right, so allocate a certain amount out of whatever you receive to these fixed costs. All right, people will give you percentages to say maybe 50% of your whatever you get should be allocated to that or some other percentage. But for me, I always say look at your own personal case. Then number two, you need to make some savings, all right, because there is retirement, so long-term retirement. And how many people are working formally? If you are working formally, even if you don't save for retirement, you know there's a SNET contribution, your tier 1, your tier 2, and possibly a tier 3. Okay, so you need to make some allocation for your long-term retirement and some savings that you can fall on to also navigate or to address certain things that may come your way. Maybe you want to better yourselves and the likes of that, and have something for, say, maybe an emergency.
The Joy Business Advisory Series continues tomorrow. Do make a date. Let's go for some international business stories. That's our part company here on Business Live. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Great stories on that portal for you. We recorded zero BoG financing from 2017 to 2019 and 2021 until COVID-19 set in. That's according to the governor of the Bank of Ghana there. And also have a long-term plan assuring enough to service country's debts, government advised. And of course, Yalati there. We've got great stories on that portal. Do visit the portal and get yourself updated with the very latest in the world of business. And that's it for the bulletin. Do enjoy the rest of our program. See you same time tomorrow. Bye.